Friday, April 3rd, 2020, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. I know it's getting crazy out there, especially here in the UK. We don't know how long we're going to be on lockdown, but we can't be distracted totally. It's the old strategy of look here, don't look there. So today I want to talk about how the Federal Reserve is actually on pace to increasing its balance sheet to 20 trillion in the next 12 months. And just to give you an idea, US GDP annually is just over 21 trillion. So yes, we've been told, of course, by the mainstream economists, by politicians, by central bankers, that it's not going to cause inflation, let alone hyperinflation, even though we do know that hyperinflation actually is a loss of confidence in the currency, and it usually happens in a severe depression. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to look at the Fed's balance sheet today and then look at where the markets are this morning. Before I do that, I like to let you know I did a kind of a fireside chat with Mike from Rethinking the Dollar last night. I think it was a good discussion, and we spoke about things we usually wouldn't in our videos. We actually gave our opinions on a lot of subjects that are relevant today, so I recommend you, if you have some time to watch it. It's about 45 minutes. I'll put it up in the cards and in the description. I think it was a nice chat, and hopefully we'll be doing that more often. I'll be doing maybe a little more with him on his channel. This was the first time I interviewed him for my channel, Mike from Rethinking the Dollar. The other thing I wanted to talk about is how to get silver. As you can see here, I've got quite a few of these Kennedy half dollars from 1964. It has to be 1964. There are some that have a bit of silver. I think it's up until 68. They have 50% silver, but these are the only ones that are 90% silver, the 64 Kennedy half dollars. Of course, you can get pre-1964 half dollars. I think they have Benjamin Franklin on them, not Kennedy. And they're 90% silver as well. But I've always liked the Kennedy half dollars, as you can see. There's JFK there. So where can you get these? Well, here in the UK, for my viewers, eBay is a good place. I've been buying some Kennedy half dollars on eBay for many years. I have bought some from my coin dealer where I used to live before. Yeah, eBay is a good place. Make sure you check where it's coming from. Make sure you check, of course, if the person selling has a good track record on eBay. So that's another option for people who want to buy silver. So does it make sense to buy Kennedy half dollars even if you're in the UK? I think so, because it is silver, and there's a story of during the Napoleonic Wars here in the UK, there was a shortage of silver coins, so they actually circulated American silver coins, silver dollars circulated in the UK. So yeah, I think this is a good way to, if you can't get silver from your dealer, try to go on eBay and have a look. Just search Kennedy half dollar in 1964. Make sure you put the 64, and you can put also half dollar, silver half dollar, and you might get something before Kennedy. So today we have non-farm payroll, and it's usually the most important number for the US markets and for markets all over the world. But I think the weekly publishing or updating of the Fed's balance sheet every Thursday is going to be just as important. So yesterday I had a look. The Fed revised its balance sheet. I've taken some notes here. As you can see, it's almost up to $6 trillion. And as you can see here, the balance sheet started increasing last year around the time of the repo crisis. The bottom of the balance sheet, since they started the unwinding that they did in 2018, the balance sheet got back down to 3.76 trillion. I think the high was just over 4.5 trillion in 2014 or 15. So the latest number, April 1st, which is Wednesday. So they take the Wednesday numbers, they publish it on Thursday. Yeah, that's 5.811 trillion. So the balance sheet has gone up by 54.5%, and that's in 218 days. So in just over 7 months. So that's a huge increase percentage-wise. And I recommend as well you watch Bellin GP's video. He's a really good YouTuber. He'd been idle for a few months. He's back now. He made a video yesterday, and I recommend it so you can understand a little better about the balance sheet and the money supply. He explains it quite well. I'm not going to go through it here. I'll put it up in the cards. It says things are moving very quickly now. 2020 0402 update. He's updating you with the balance sheet as well. Recommend that. So let's continue looking at the numbers here of the balance sheet. So they've increased the balance sheet by just over $2 trillion in that same period from August 28th to April 1st. So on an annualized basis, that's 15.86% of US GDP they've increased their balance sheet by. A lot of people say that the Fed doesn't print money, that they issue debt, but I disagree. If you look at the founder of the Bank of England, and he knew a few things or two, he said that we create money out of thin air and we earn interest on that money. And that's what the Fed does. How do you think they buy these assets? Just by creating money out of thin air. They just type it into the system. So they are printing money. I know it's not going directly into the economy, into dollar bills, but it will seep through. So let's continue. So they're basically, since August last year, they're printing almost $10 billion a day. So that's quite amazing. But more interestingly, in the last 36 days, and you can see here what's happened in the last 36 days, we've had a huge spike. So that's from February 26th on the chart here. So the balance sheet in those last 36 days, wait for this, is increased by almost 2 trillion, 1.653 trillion. So if you take that and you annualize it and add it to the balance sheet where it was on that day, which was just over 4 trillion, we could basically have the balance sheet match the size of the US economy in 12 months time. And it could be even more. They could even accelerate this. So that's why it's very important not to be too distracted by what's going on with this crisis that we're having, where there's so much information, so much propaganda, in my opinion. Look behind the curtain. Look at what the bankers and Chairman Powell are doing. And so why is this relevant? Well, because I think they're going rogue, as I said, I think last week in one of my videos. And by going rogue I mean, they're going to destroy the value of the currency, not only in the United States, but all around the world. And that's why I've been talking about this for, well, over a decade now, and in my channel for over 4 years, that the only way to protect savings in paper assets is through having physical precious metals, gold and silver. And I continue to do so, and it's getting harder and harder now with the lockdowns to get any. What else is going on? Yeah, we have non-farm payroll today. We saw yesterday jobless claims jump to over 6 million. I almost said 6 trillion, but thinking about the Fed's balance sheet. Yeah, non-farm payroll will be important today. The expectation is that it drops by 100,000. I think it could be more. And why do I say I think it could be a bigger drop in non-farm payrolls? Well, because yesterday the Wall Street economists, their forecast was for 3.5 million jobless claims, and it came out at 6.6. So I think they're a little behind the curve. Unemployment rate is expected to jump from 3.5% to 3.8%. So let's look at the markets then. Yeah, yesterday was an interesting day. We saw the stock market really in the red towards the end of the future session, beginning of the regular trading session in the US. And then we had President Trump tweet that he was working with the Saudi prince mortgage-backed security. I'm joking, Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, to try to cut the supply of oil to raise the price. President Trump said that was great news for US companies. Of course, it's not great news for the millions of Americans who are not earning as much as they used to. Of course, they're not driving as much as they used to, but they still have to go out, drive their cars to buy food and whatever they need, essentials. I thought that was a bit weird. So that drove the market higher, the stock market higher. Oil went up, I think, almost 30%. And yeah, the Dow finished up 460. But my view hasn't changed from what I said yesterday about that chart of the S&P. So it's 8:40 a.m. London. We've got spot gold at 1612.50. It's down slightly. The range has been 1605 to 1624. Before I go further, just wanted to remind you of a good article. I'm going to put it in the description. Craig Hemke, it's entitled "The CME Opens Pandora's Box." It talks about what's going on COMEX and the physical gold market. Have a read of that. It's quite interesting. Silver did fairly well yesterday. It looks like they're trying to cap it at 14.5. That's where we are right now. We're up 3 cents at 14.46 or thereabouts. The Dow future is down 220 points or 1%. The S&P is down 22 or just under 1%. S&P future, NASDAQ 100 future is down 0.75% this morning. In the currency market, sterling is down 50 pips or 0.4% at 123.47. The price of gold in sterling right now is at 1306.80. We had gone back below 1300, mostly because the pound has strengthened quite a bit. But yeah, we are at 1306.80, just under 1307 this morning. That's XAU GBP. The FTSE 100, so I'm covering a little bit also of the UK markets. FTSE 100 is down 0.75% at 54.28. Euro is down 0.5%, 108.06. So yeah, the dollar has been strengthening the last few days. And the dollar is up 0.25% versus the Japanese yen at 108.15. Crude oil still fairly firm. We're at 26.50. WTI up 20 cents. Bond market. The 10-year yield is at 59 basis points, down about 4 basis points. So there you go. We really need to keep an eye on the Fed's balance sheet. I think that's going to be more important to your financial survival than anything else that's going on out there. And it could even be important for your survival, period. Much more than the health crisis we have out there. I'm more concerned about that than anything else. Because in a modern industrial society or economy, we're so specialized. We're not subsistent farmers like back in the 1800s. The homesteaders had their farm; they could survive. No, we're highly specialized. We have each have our own specialized skills, and we need a sound currency in order to indirectly exchange those skills. So a collapse of the currency would be a calamity. So you need to keep an eye on this, and I will definitely, and I will let you know what's going on. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. We need to get people out there to know this is going on. And think about subscribing to my channel as well if you haven't. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, BitChute, Steemit, and DTube. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.